Welcome to the first episode of Upper Yantre. My name is Zoe Mkobata, your host. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I am joined by Iris Myers, right? Myers. I'm so sorry. Why do I keep on saying this?
I actually have a friend with the surname of Myers.
Really? No. I'm so sorry. I don't know why. So he's one of the co-founders of the Maybrew app. If you don't know this app, I honestly don't know what you're doing in your life and you're in Cape Town. Really? So he's going to be diving into how he started, why he started, and why businesses should be moving to the app side of the world. So, Riz, thank you so much for coming to my show, actually.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, you're very welcome. So I would like you to just start telling us how you started the app, why you actually started the Maybrew app.
Sure. So actually the concept started in town, the first meeting where the concept originated from. The other co-founder, we were in varsity together, and we just went into our specialization, and we weren't friends, we stayed in the same area, and the one day approached me and said, hey, I've got this rough concept, etc., etc. At that time I was doing film, pre and post-production film, and he said, I like the way you work, I'd want to bring you on board in this. It's something, but we obviously need to develop it. At that time, the main apps in the market was Pinterest, WhatsApp, Instagram had the old logo still, so it was a really early time in the market.
How long ago was this?
2015.
Oh, okay, so you've been around for quite some time.
So that's the initial concept. That's when initially the concept was born. We sat at Wimpy actually in Wimpy down the road over here.
Okay, cool.
In town CBD, and that's when we had our first conversation. I said, look, I'll come on board. It's going to take a hell of a lot of cash at that point in time. And yeah, that's where originally it started.
And like, why did you start the app? Do you want to maybe tell my viewers more as to what Maybrew is? And
yeah, so essentially,
it's okay.
Essentially, the app finds specials based on your geolocation. Everybody, the vernacular of geolocation, not a lot of people are familiar with. So your current location is your geolocation. So the app pushes specials for food, drinks, retail, and entertainment. Those four categories. It pushes notifications through to you. The special actually finds you, or you could go out and find the special. We're integrated with Google Maps, and we're integrated with Uber as well. So you can also request the Uber to that special itself.
I'm so interested to know, actually, because I did go on the app and like I saw what's happening, but I'm very confused as to how you guys actually make money. How do you guys make money from the app? Because we don't purchase the app. It's like absolutely free on Google Play and Apple. So I just want to know, how do you guys generate income?
Yeah. So this is a question like I get asked quite often.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand the back end side of it, and the actual machine and the money maker is in the back end.
Okay, cool.
So we show the user specials based on geolocation. Essentially, we are spamming the user.
Okay.
That's one way to look at it.
Okay, cool.
But it's not spam to the user because we're providing value in terms of nuggets of information that's valuable to the user. In terms of how we monetize, there's multiple revenue streams that we use in the back end to monetize our online reach, for instance, across our online social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. That's one way we monetize. Another way we monetize is the back end analytics to help brands understand the audience, how the audience is interacting with the specials, what specials the audience is acting with, why they're interacting with us, the flow, the conversion rates, and really getting a deeper insight to the audience, their behavioral patterns, etc., etc. Facebook is obviously doing it on a larger scale. They're tracking every single metadata. Your microphone is on with Facebook. Your gallery is accessible to them. We don't do that. We have the best way to put it is we don't put the person's name in there. So we de-identify the person. And that way then we hand that analytics over, and we will consult on that analytics to the actual brand.
You generate income. Okay. And I mean, let's say I have this like amazing app idea. How do you, like, tell me what are the steps that I need to take from seeing it as an idea and to actually bringing it into reality? So break down like everything for me, what you guys had to go through in terms of building the app. Who did you have to speak to? Who do you speak to in terms of building the app?
I think right now there's no better time than right now to start. I see a lot of people with great concepts, but a lot of them don't execute. A lot of them don't even start. You know, where they'll be sitting on a gold mine, but that gold mine will just stay there. Nobody's going to go down and mine it. You know. So in terms of starting that process, for me, a lot of people skip the most important process, which is the research. You need to understand and do your research properly.
Guys.
Research is so important. You understand the market segment, the market size, the behavioral attributes in the market. What is the market done? How can you pivot in that market? Is the market expected to crash? Has the market crashed before? How are you going to come out of that? So research is a big part of it. Obviously, studying at Vega, we had to do research for every single project. Every single assignment we worked on, research was the go-to.
Okay.
So that's step number one. After you've identified, you've done your research, this is not a quick thing.
Absolutely not.
I don't think there's a specific flow. We have a specific flow now which we develop tech for other clients. So we have our own internal flow that works with our infrastructure, that works with our current resources. But I think everybody individually could have their own flow. So once your research is complete, you'd identify the actual need in the market, you'd answer all those questions, the need, the market size, your revenue model, all of that will be completed in your research. From there, you'd begin your scamps, and you begin wireframing, how this is going to work with the front end, with the back end. A lot of people only see the front end of the app. For instance, let's just use Facebook or Instagram as an example. You're seeing the front end. At the back end, there's an actual API. Behind that API, there's an actual admin portal where Instagram's people log in and change the API based on the revenue model. And behind that is ad and revenue. Ad spend and revenue, where marketers actually put in data to be able to market to certain people on Facebook or on Instagram. So then you need to understand how your revenue model is going to work, how you're going to make money, if that is part of your roadmap. If you plan to monetize the app, if you don't plan to monetize the app, that's also fine. What I can tell you is for every platform that is free, there is no such thing as a free platform. If a platform is free, you're paying with your data. I don't mean your data that you're buying from an ISP or a service provider. I mean data, your personal information. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind. Obviously with Poppy and Privy, that's a whole nother situation within the country. The UAE has their own, the EU has their own laws as well. So once you have your research complete, you've wireframed, you've got your scamps, you've got a prototype, there's a free platform called InVision, where you can actually take your designs and you can plug it in there and you can create a user flow and you can see how it's going to look like. It's technically an app. Doesn't work like a fully fledged app, but you get a good idea and a look and feel of the transitions between the app. So you'd probably have to sit down with a UX designer, with a UI designer. You would definitely have to do those things. Yes, you can do it by yourself just to get a minimal viable product. MVP is always very important, especially before going to an investor looking for investment.
All this jargon.
So that's always important to have a viable operating MVP, and you need to be able to prove your hypothesis. A lot of investors that want to come on board before your business is actually operational, bringing in revenue and showing positive growth.
So did you guys actually approach some investors?
Yes, funny enough, my investor, he wanted me to join his business. And at that time, the business that he wanted to go into, my friend was in another business, a global business, bigger, and I knew that they were coming to South Africa. They've already set up offices, and I knew that the rand versus the dollar was never going to win. So I advised him otherwise, and he decided to come on board with
your idea.
With the idea, and we've been going strong ever since. 2015, we were actually supposed to launch November 2015, and we actually launched November the 27th, 2017. 2017.
So it's been 2 years. A year and a half.
Well, a year and a bit since we've been live to the public. So during that time, it was testing, it was bugs. Google Maps updated their API, which gave us a massive kickback, setback rather. Uber kept on updating, and when you integrate it to large platforms like that, you have to be on their level. They're not going to dumb down their technology to facilitate you. And we're a tadpole in a massive ocean. So we really had to up our game, make sure that our tech speaks to one another properly, because at the end of the day, the user just wants a slick, clean experience.
Absolutely. So my next question brings me into wanting to know what costs are actually involved into building an app.
So that's a very broad question. Reason being, there's different technologies, different languages that you can use. For example, there's HTML5, there's Swift, which is Apple's official language. There is React Native, which is heaven sent. When we started out, React Native wasn't around. The technology didn't exist. Which is basically There's a native way to build things. Native means for that platform specifically designed for that OS operating system.
That own language, whatever, yeah.
So basically we develop natively on iOS for Apple, you develop through Swift.
Okay, cool.
And if you develop natively for Google, it would be through Java.
Okay.
So React Native Build basically combines these two components, and you only have to develop it once with certain key components for both. So you save tremendously on costs.
Okay.
Your builds, your updates, your infrastructure is just a lot more fluid, a lot more accessible, and it's an open frame network as well. So developers from around the world will be able to assist you, etc., etc. Coming back to the costs, it really depends what you want to build.
Yeah, but if we bring it back to just the basic, if I was wanting to build an app,
Yeah.
like what cost do I actually have to prepare myself for? Yeah.
Yeah, so look, the figure right now in the industry, the benchmark for a decent cross-platform iOS and listed on the App Store and listed on the Play Store is about 850K. That's the benchmark right now. Now, we're not talking any bells and whistles, we are talking the bare structure right now. Functional, operational, nothing hectic.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the benchmark. That's what I would say is a decent benchmark for a decent product.
Okay.
But nothing fancy. We're not talking about a Ferrari over here. We're talking about...
Yeah, hey, listen.
Yeah.
And you know, with everything with the world, everybody's moving towards like technology. Do you think that everybody that's in business right now should be moving, should be actually building an app for their business?
I think not necessarily an app.
Okay.
Do I think apps streamline the process? Yes. Do I think that going digital is the way? 100%. I think businesses really need to look at their core structure, where they are right now, where they want to be, what need they're solving, and then look at how technology can facilitate a more seamless process. I don't necessarily think for every single business that they need an app.
Okay.
A lot of the times when we consult, we need an app. When we actually look at the core structure and what they actually need, it's a more integrated system between their current systems. Because a lot of the corps are using one platform, another platform, another platform, and they're not speaking to each other.
Okay, cool.
So I do think a lot of companies can benefit from making use of apps. It's a very competitive space. They need to identify the objective first and say, this is why we are actually going to this market, and justify that spend. Because it's not a cheap process. You can go the cheap route, and you could probably do it for, call it 250K.
Yeah.
I call that cheap.
250K casually.
You could go that route, but obviously updating your infrastructure, your servers, your
That's still
backend,
an
your
ongoing
website.
cost, yeah.
It's ongoing. There are bugs every single day. There's technology, there's malware. People send you emails to attack your system. We are constantly under threats with hackers trying to get access because it's private information from our clients. I mean, there's infrastructure you can put in place like firewalls and stuff like that to keep them out. But, you know, it's the tech world. There's always going to be people knocking.
Great. I don't know about you guys, but I'm dizzy from all that tech jargon. So I want to bring it back home a bit, and I just want you to tell us a bit more about your journey as an entrepreneur. Like, what have you, if knowing what you know now from the time that you started, what would you do differently?
Sure.
Like, if you knew what you know now.
Sure. What would I do differently? I think rushing back then, with just rushing into things and not taking a step back now and reflecting the reason why I came here. What am I looking to get out of this? What is a plan A, plan B, plan C? I'd usually have a plan A and a plan B. Now I usually go into things with a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. Time, realizing that I'm still young compared to the rest of the people in the industry. I wouldn't rush things as much. I would shoot from the hip back then a lot more often. Now I don't rush things as much. I'd have the conversation, I'd reflect. Even if something happens that people view as catastrophic, they ask me why I'm calm. I just don't stress over those. If it's out of my control, I'm not stressing at all. It might have a knock-on effect within the business, but I believe that our infrastructure and our structures and our processes that we put in place is good enough to handle that. So I wouldn't rush into things. That's definitely one thing. I see a lot of people just going, this is happening, boom, boom, jumping on it. Not understanding the intricacies as to why it's happening. A lot of just people, so they see the outside of things. They see the outside, it's trending, let's hop on. For me, that's topical. That's topical content that's trending right now. But the longevity in that isn't there. So you're gonna hit a spike. I'm not denying the fact that you're gonna hit a spike. But I'd rather have a steady incline then a spike and drop. So I see a lot of people spike and dropping, spike and dropping, spike and dropping. I mean, that's the world we live in today. Social media will tell you the same thing: spike, drop, but there's a handful of people that remain consistent, and those people that remain consistent, you'll see they have the biggest accounts today. That and legal advice. Very grateful to have had legal advice back then, still now. It's money that you actually cannot, you can't put a figure to the value.
Okay.
Because obviously those people, they've studied it, that's their profession. And to find somebody that's really proficient in your specific industry, in your specific niche, for us it was very different and very difficult. But eventually you found somebody or a group of people, and they're really good at what they do. And not spreading myself too thin. You know, often as entrepreneurs, you have to do and wear multiple hats at the same time: sales rep, marketing, back-end, developers, and.
You end up burning out.
You end up burning out. So I've seen it firsthand. It's not something that's nice, pretty. But yeah, you need to take care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally.
I want to bring it back to my next question, actually. I want to know, what are the common challenges that you face daily as an entrepreneur?
I saw an infographic the other day that really just showed the day of an entrepreneur, and it's really just filled with spikes, highs and lows, adversity, curveballs, speed bumps, hurdles, whatever you want to call it. And that's the general day. Starts out in the morning, sometimes earlier than others. Sometimes it's 5 o'clock, sometimes 7 o'clock. It really just depends, but your body becomes accustomed to your clock. So the common challenges: every single day there's curveballs. Every single day, everything can be operating just fine when we left the office, and then the next day starts and Google's updated this, Trump has done this, somebody's done something, and there are plenty of knock-on effects which essentially will trickle down and affect us. We also have to understand the market and the landscape of our clients. When the government does something necessarily to squeeze them tighter, that's going to affect their budget, which will have a knock-on effect, which will affect their spend towards us. So we also have to be aware of those things. But yeah, you just have to be able to deal with, you as an entrepreneur, you are the problem solver. You know, people are looking to you, the team is looking to you to solve the problem. The team is looking for you to be calm throughout the storm, whether it's 20-foot waves, 100-foot waves, 2-foot waves. So you really just have to be able to go to a good space, be able to look at things clearly, in an objective manner, without emotion involved. That's so important. A lot of people get heated within conversations. I call it being non-romantic about it. I'm not romantic about work. I'm passionate about my work. I love my work, but at the end of the day, if you are coming to me with the idea and an implementation strategy or change in strategy, and I may be coming with the initial concept of it, and the data is there to substantiate what you're saying, we're going to pivot and do what you do. Doesn't matter, we are all on the same level. I'm working with people, they're not working for me, I'm not working for them. So when it comes to that, I think you really have to have a good communication with the team, honesty, respect with the team as well. So yeah, you really have to, mentally you have to be strong, because I can guarantee you every single day, if it's not every day, it's 3 times a day, that there are going to be challenges, whether it's losing a client not being happy, issues with the bank, finances dropping, not being accessible, and you have to be able to deliver. You really have to be, a lot of people aren't able to deliver under pressure. It's easy to talk the talk, but when it comes to executing, that's when you really see.
That's me. I'm always talking about starting something, and after hearing all of that, I think I'm fine with my 9 to 5. For now, I'm fine with sticking to my 9 to 5. Goodness.
No, I think, and from the outside as well, it might look glamorous.
It does, trust me. I mean, Instagram doesn't make it. Even your Instagram page, guys, you should go to his page and see he's always traveling. So why wouldn't we want any of that?
You know, but even with traveling, it's exhausting as well. Delayed flights. Just one of the things that
problems.
You know, and then the client really doesn't care whether your flight's delayed, what the problem was, etc., etc.
So are you always traveling like for business, or?
Most of the time I try and include business in the trip.
I'm always thinking maybe you're just out for like fun.
Sometimes it's fun. My last trip there was no business included. But yeah, I always try and factor business in, because I try and capitalize on the fact that I'm already there. I can always reach out to people. I think that's another thing, just reaching out to people, reaching out, you know, putting it out there. Some people won't know what you're working on, they don't know what you're working on, they might have the person that can connect you or open up a door. So don't talk about it often, but put it out there once you're ready. You know, don't put it out there if you're not ready to execute.
Absolutely.
Because somebody's going to knock on that door and say, hey, I know this person, and you're going to say, give me a week. That lead's going to go cold.
It's so interesting that you're actually saying that, because I had plans of starting this channel like 3 years ago, guys. And I actually put out my first video 3 years ago, and that was the end of it. And this is the official first video. But I'm going to wrap this entire thing up here with my last question. So what's the future looking like for you in terms of, I mean, your relationships, like business-wise? What are you planning for the future?
Yeah, so the future this next month, this past month is actually quite hectic. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of things to work through. But the next month is looking quite positive. The next 3 months is looking quite positive. We work in 3 month stints. So that 3 month stint has just come to an end now. And the next 3 months looking really positive. We're releasing a new build for Android. We're testing it this coming week, so we should release it the following week. If all goes well with Google, Trump and China, that should be released on the Play Store, not this coming week, the week after that. I don't know what that date is, probably going to be the 14th plus minus. And yeah, furthermore, we're looking to procure more clients. We beta tested in Johannesburg, so that's going quite well. We will be up in Johannesburg as well, doing a more aggressive approach in terms of client procurement. You can expect a bigger presence of us in Johannesburg as well, bigger presence in Cape Town. We're looking to do some cool things with I can't mention it now.
Okay.
But we're going to be doing some cool things in the nightlife as well. A lot in the event space, in the market space. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And new features coming into the app as well. So I'm quite looking forward to that. The wine routes are mapped now, so expect some wine routes on there as well. Some good value over there. In terms of personal life, I'm currently doing long distance.
Okay, cool.
My other half's in Dubai as of late, the last 2.5 months. So that's also been quite interesting, the dynamic. We're both very career driven as well, so that was a great opportunity over there for us. So I don't believe in holding anybody back.
Absolutely.
You need to spread your wings and fly. So that's what that looks like. And yeah, there's a whole lot of exciting things on the cards, dealing with different tech companies. I think we've gained a lot of credibility as of late. And a lot of people are coming to us now looking for tech solutions, as opposed to us going to knock on the door saying, can we pitch, can we pitch, can we pitch? So I think with time, patience, and putting a good strategy into place and following that roadmap to the T is really what we're looking to do within the next 3 months, 6 months. It's going to be interesting. The next 6 months is going to be interesting in the tech space specifically. Keep an eye out for Huawei. Can tell you that. Keep an eye out for Huawei.
They're not out of the game.
No, Huawei's not out the game. Everybody thinks they're out the game. No, they're not out the game by a long shot. Keep an eye out for Nokia as well and Motorola.
Okay.
Samsung's also doing good things. So yeah, I'm excited for the future.
Wow. Thank you so much for actually taking the time and coming here. And guys, this brings us to the end of our first interview. If you're not subscribed, please make sure you all hit the notification bell down below so that you're posted every single time I post a new video. My name is Zoe Mkhubada, and thank you so much for watching.